Hi, I'm the Gadget Guru Andy Parr, and this is the Vlog.net. Now, with me right here is Julie. Julie, this is a gorgeous bike. Tell me a little about it.
I love this bike. It's a 2005 Vegas.
Yeah, it looks brand new. This is an 05?
This is an 05. I bought it new, but it's an 05. And I saw this bike. My brother and I were doing research. We both had a midlife crisis about the same time.
Now, you're too young to have a midlife crisis.
We both had a midlife crisis at the same time. I recruited a friend of mine, and he recruited a friend of his, and we all took the class together, the four of us. And a week after we took the class, my brother and I both came down, and I bought this one because it's the one that I knew was my bike even before we took the class, and he bought a black Vegas.
Now, this is your first motorcycle?
This is my first motorcycle.
Gotta admit, this is not an entry-level baby bike. What was it like learning to ride on this bike?
Actually, when I took the class, they almost failed me.
And that's on a 250cc bike.
They made me promise that I would ride around the neighborhood before I got out into traffic.
You mean they wanted to keep you away from other people?
And what happened was the bike I was on had a really hard time shifting from first to second. I kept getting stuck in neutral. So maneuvering sometimes and accelerating and things like that were causing me problems. So my brother was very patient with me. He helped me out. You know, we rode around the neighborhood. I laid it down once or twice. Always stopped though. And finally got the nerve to get out in the highway and actually started doing better once he wasn't covering my back. Actually, I was probably not as cautious as I should have been. Once I got out on my own, I knew I needed to be more cautious because there was nobody watching my back. And that I actually learned more on my own. I used to go out like once or twice a week after work.
How many miles do you have on the bike?
Just under 10,000.
Are most of the miles that you put on here, are they city or highway miles?
Probably mostly city. I've been to Key West twice. I've been to Leesburg once. I have taken some longer rides, but most of the time it's rides up and down the beach, A1A on Sunday mornings for breakfast, that kind of thing.
Okay, let's talk pros and cons. What's your favorite aspect of the bike?
The balance and the dealer. It's a heavy bike, but you don't feel the weight of it.
Okay, so it's pretty easy to maneuver?
Yes.
How about in slow speeds?
Yes.
Well, I saw you pull it up in here, and it was a pretty tight turn. I gotta say, you handle the bike really, really well.
Yes. And these bars help a lot too.
Okay, now what did you do to the bars?
I put on Nest drag bars because they make you sit more upright as opposed to leaning forward.
So that makes you pull your weight a little bit more to help balance the bike out?
Yes.
Now, if you could change one thing about the bike, what would it be?
The seat.
Okay, the seat. What don't you like about the seat?
I don't think there's enough lumbar support. And I'm looking into purchasing another seat.
So when you look at a seat like the Vision that has a lot more higher backrest on it?
Actually, the Vision I have ridden, and I enjoyed it, and I had the Vision up reasonably high speed, and it handled very, very well. You never know that you were going that fast. The balance is great. The seat is more comfortable than this seat.
Do you think you'll keep this bike around for a while?
I think so, because I get more compliments on my bike than anybody else I know gets on theirs. And I ride with a lot of Harley riders all the time, and everybody always asks me about mine. They never ask me about theirs.
Do you still find it strange? People come to you today and they don't know who Victory is?
Yes.
And how do you respond to it?
I tell them, have you ever heard of Polaris? And most of the time they have. Or if I say, okay, you know, snowmobiles and that kind of thing. And well, Victory is part of Polaris, and then they start to get the piece. A lot of people ask, is that some kind of Harley? You know, everything's a Harley to people who don't really know.
Well, when you tell them made in America, do they seem surprised?
Actually, they do. The Harley riders that I ride with don't believe that there's more American on mine than there is on theirs.
Okay, Julie, you've had this bike for almost 2 years. How much time has it spent in the shop?
Not much at all. Just regular maintenance, oil changes. Little mishaps I've had. I had a stage 1 kit put on, which I noticed a big difference in the way the bike responds by doing that. I like the pipes. Most of it's just been cosmetic, other than routine maintenance, which is oil changes and that kind of thing.
Now, you know, you said you ride with a lot of Harley and other riders. Do you see that their bikes are in the shop more than yours?
They're always wrenching them.
So I guess that's a pretty good sign.
You have to carry tools with you if you ride a Harley. I don't carry any tools.
Well, I guess you don't need them here. How is this bike on the highway? Because I notice you don't have a windshield on.
It's actually great, and I had it up to probably 90 without a windshield, and of course you feel it, on your face, but the bike handles tremendously well.
But you didn't feel the wind kind of pushing you to the back of the bike?
Not like I expected, no.
So you didn't turn into a parachute?
No.
Well, Julie, I got to tell you, there's only one thing I got to ask you. You said you had the stage 1 level 1s put on here. Can I hear what it sounds like?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Julie, I want to thank you very much. This is a gorgeous bike, but I guess it makes sense. Pretty bike, pretty lady.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Hey, for the VOG.net, I'm the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr. Happy driving.